Words About Books, Ben, is a poorly
already
spoken podcast.
I already hear the audio clipping. It's just the first thing the audience hears. It's just words about books.
Ben.
Ben.
So, Ben, guess what's coming out this year?
Dune?
Actually, no. I heard that they were postponing that until after the pandemic, so I assume that means that that's just their way of saying they canceled Dune.
Yeah, the Sigma variant's coming up. Now, let me think. What else could be coming out this year?
Halo Infinite. The final installment of the lesser-liked Halo trilogy is coming out this year, Ben.
There's sub-series within Halo?
Yeah, there's the first three, which was developed by Bungie, and then there's the second three, which were developed by 343 Industries. It's a common error to make, Ben.
And now what is this developed by? Is this the second three?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the third one developed by 343 Industries, which is not Bungie.
Right. And also, apparently, Halo Infinite's bots aren't teabagging you, at least not on purpose, according to some of these articles.
Noted. So, Halo Infinite, that's a bold title.
Yeah, especially because the fifth game was awful and universally disliked. So,
what was its name?
Guardians? Halo 5 Guardians?
I have completely lost track of the Halo
That's okay.
series.
After the third game, the series essentially ended, in my opinion. That's it.
I mean, speaking of Dune, I have a similar opinion.
So Ben, what do you know about Halo?
I know that there is a guy in green armor with an orange question mark visor who has an energy sword sometimes and a gun at other times. And he fights aliens and other people sometimes. Now, in all reality, I have a vague understanding that the Halo story is about humanity being nearly exterminated or something by a theocratic alien race called the Flood?
The Covenant.
The Covenant? What's the Flood? Is that a different thing?
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Is that Halo?
That is Halo.
Okay. So, yeah, there's these religious fundamentalist aliens who have come down to get rid of humanity because are we not religious?
Well, that's part of the story, Ben. Don't worry. I got you covered because I read Halo, The Fall of Reach. Witness the epic origin story of Master Chief being a Master Chief.
Oh, I thought you were just jumping right into it. Okay. No, I know one other thing, and that is that Master Chief, which I did recently realize is not his name, it's his rank, is...
Well, once he gets the rank, they just refer to him by that forever.
Is his name like John or something?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Just John Everyman, is that? Okay. So I know that he is a Spartan, which is like a super soldier.
Just like in real life. Yeah.
That they don't make anymore or something. Like he's the last one.
Well, thank God I'm here to help you out, Ben.
I also know that this was a story cobbled together very quickly to justify.
Did you know that the foreword of the book actually mentions that multiple times on how it was done very quickly in the span of 4 months?
Well, they're not at all insecure about what's about to happen. Hey guys, look, this is 4 months, okay? This is no one's best work.
I think it made money, though. I think it made a lot of money.
Oh,
they
yeah,
kept releasing books.
The book. The book made a lot of money.
Yes. I mean, the game definitely made a lot of money. The game single-handedly justified the Xbox's existence.
I know one more thing, and it's because of you. It's because you made a point to send it to me, and that was a review that compared this to Dune.
No, not this particular book.
Oh, just that the Halo story was on the level of Dune.
There is a Halo story on the level of Dune, which I'm sure you can't wait to figure that one out. I can send you the book itself if you want. You can read it and report back to us. I'm sure you're dying to do that.
I could. I'm just going to make people angry. I've I have found that people do not enjoy when I speak dismissively about their favorite things.
Yeah, I'm sure you really offended a lot of our StarCraft fans.
The one consolation I have is that most listeners probably don't care about the Halo book, except for the large number that are going to tune in specifically because this episode is titled Halo.
Well, I'd like to begin our dive into the Fall of Reach, the prequel, by the way, of Halo Combat Evolved. So, just to give you a taste for what's in store when I inevitably try to worm you into actually playing Halo.
Whereas Halo Combat Evolved on the Halo timeline.
Halo Combat Evolved is the first game in the series.
Oh.
So this is a prequel to that.
I see.
Yeah, you're getting the origin story of Master Chief. Are you excited? How excited are you?
I mean,
scale of 1 to 10. Super excited? Like 10? Maybe 11?
Boy. I'm going to say like solid 3.
That's pretty excited for you. You're a pretty low energy guy.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm actually interested. Maybe you can sell me on this. From the way you're talking, it doesn't sound like you or the book has much confidence in that, though.
Well, let's start out with a passage from the book Halo: The Fall of Reach. I'd like to quote it directly.
Reach was one of the few places that John considered safe from the Covenant. There were 100 ships and 20 Mark V Mac cannons on the orbital stations overhead. His home would not fall.
Dun, dun, dun. If there's one thing I know, it's that this planet will never be destroyed by evil, ultra-religious aliens.
Yeah, it's not looking very good. I guess to avoid spoilers, don't look at the cover of the book.
Well, I mean, so that actually sounds like it was intended to be funny.
I think it was intended to be on the nose, yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the book, I feel like, is intended to be on the nose.
Well, I was just going to ask, how seriously does it take itself?
I hope it is not trying to take itself seriously. Like, I read it as like, oh, that's kind of funny, because, like, yeah, the planet Reach is never going to fall in the book, The Fall of Reach. Like, that's great.
Yeah, I think I'd give him that.
Later on, there's a part where he's like, but the chief would never do that to us. He would never send men to attack us. Even though, like, 2 chapters before, he was, like, beating children. So
I don't see how that relates. That doesn't mean he'd send men to attack them. Maybe he likes them and hates children.
Well, they were children at the time. That was the thing.
Oh. Why did you want to read this?
I wanted to read this so that I could talk about it on the podcast.
Okay. I'm I'm putty in your hands. Take me on an adventure.
So the book actually starts out, it's the year 2552, and John 117, the Master Chief, as he's known, as you know, Ben, he and his team just have over-the-top violence in murdering just hundreds and hundreds of aliens, and it sets the stage that the Spartans always win on the ground, but it never matters because the space battle is always overwhelmingly in the aliens' favor, and so Master Chief gets to sit on the bridge of a fleeing spaceship watching aliens turn the surface of this planet into glass.
Okay. I mean, it does seem like in a spacefaring civilization that the space battle would be something you'd want to prioritize over fancy super soldiers.
Yeah, you would think, but I'll get into why they decided to go the fancy super soldier route. Because, spoilers, the super soldiers were not intended to fight aliens.
Oh.
They were intended to fight other people.
Oh my gosh.
So, 30 years prior to that scene of genocide, the story actually opens with... Oh, I forgot to mention. I didn't listen to the audiobook because I saw all the reviews of how the speaker mispronounced Loki and Mjolnir. I think they called it Mjolnir or something like that.
Mjolnir. How do you mispronounce Loki? What did he say? Loki?
I have no idea how you mispronounce Loki. I don't know how you pronounce it Mjolnir.
Yeah, you would have to think, like, as you're looking at that and you're like, that's got to be wrong. I should ask somebody.
But we are on a time schedule here, so I think we're just going to move forward. Yeah, the reason I say is because one of the characters I'm about to talk about is in the Office of Naval Intelligence, which is ONI, but I think he says it ONI, like CIA.
Mm-hmm. But it was supposed to be a nod to a Japanese demon.
I mean, she might as well be a Japanese demon, because she's plotting the kidnap of 75 children.
Wow. These are just master segues. Master Chief segues.
Ooh, that gets a clap.
So this came out before the Avengers were popular, I imagine?
This came out in 2001.
Wow, Halo's that old. Wow. I guess I did not play Halo for the first time till long after it was out.
Oh my god. Well, now's your chance to experience the story from the very beginning. So, Dr. Catherine Halsey of ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, and also a Japanese demon, is being escorted around by Lieutenant Jacob Keyes, who is just there because we know of him and we recognize him, and he'll show up later in the book, but he doesn't really do anything right now. And she is looking for children, specific children with specific genetic markers. They never really elaborate what those genetic markers are, but there are 150 identified children, and she's got a budget for half that number. So she needs to go find which children would be best to kidnap.
That's such a weird detail. I found 100, but I only have enough money to train half of them. But yeah, these people are named after like things you would just look around the office and see as you were trying to come up with names. It's like Jacob Keyes and Catherine Halsey.
I never thought about it that way. Well, anyway, they come upon one of these kids. Subject 117, Ben. It's John, who's a gigantic, strong kid. Who also might be lucky, ?
What?
She decides to test this one whole time by, like, flipping a coin and having him call it, and he calls it correctly. And that's how she's like, I wonder if he's lucky. Anyway, you get to keep the coin. Bye!
Is luck like a real thing that they're factoring in?
I think so.
And his name, like, he doesn't have a real name?
He's got a real name.
John what?
Well, in the spirit of Edenverse, they didn't give him a last name. And I think their thinking is they don't want to get attached to these children by, like, humanizing them. So
You're calling him John.
yeah, but then you're also adding 117 at the end and not giving him a last name.
I think the damage is done at John. Like, if you were going to raise cattle to slaughter, right, you wouldn't name your cow John. Because it only works if every cow is named John, and that's John 117. But if you've got John 117 and Jim 118, they have names. That's John.
Yeah, and they have hopes and dreams and personalities, and you're about to kidnap them from their family and replace them with a Flash clone that is designed to die.
A what clone?
A Flash clone.
Please elaborate.
I don't know what it is, and I don't even know if they mention it more than a single sentence in this book. I think it's a clone that will grow up really quickly, and then, like, its organs are gonna fail.
Oh, okay. So, like, it grew into a little kid quickly,
Yes.
and then its organs failed.
Yes. So this family isn't going to go looking for a missing child because they just will think their child is dead.
Why couldn't they just give him a clone that worked?
Because I assume they don't have that technology. I don't know. I got the impression that, like, either they don't have the tech to actually give a real clone, or they're just needlessly evil for no reason.
What's the government like?
I'm glad you asked that, Ben, because that goes to my next point on why they're kidnapping these children. Okay, so there's a centralized government across a whole bunch of different colonies in space, but Oni has projected that within the next 30 or so years, there is going to be a massive insurrection and, like, a horrible civil war. And do you know how we avert that civil war? We kidnap children, train them from, obviously not birth, but almost birth. He's 6 years old at this point. And then we augment him with all kinds of shit and set him loose to kill key figures of the rebellion to put it down.
So this is like
Horrible?
Ender's Game meets The Foundation meets Star Wars.
You might throw in some Star Trek in there because there's a lot of ship combat with, like, all right, we need to fire our thrusters here, and then we need to unlock the thing. We're going to do this maneuver. Prepare on my mark in 32 seconds to fire this. Yeah.
Yeah. This seems like there's a lot of generic sci-fi stuff going on.
Yeah, but then they take it and they add child murder and child abuse. So,
You know, I'm gonna say that I think we could find some sci-fi with child murder and child abuse.
but would it be as juicy as this? So they kidnap these children, and they're like, hey, you're all joining the Navy per this naval code. And then the next day, they just force them to do a bunch of push-ups and sit-ups and running tons of miles and doing obstacle courses. And basically, if the child protests, they get beat.
Can a 6-year-old physically run tons of miles?
They fucking better. Better get going. Your 6-year-old little legs better start running, buddy.
I don't think. I'll put it this way: I've instructed 6-year-olds in a Taekwondo class, and I can tell you they. First off, if
They
you
ran
told them-
many miles, right?
if you give 2 6-year-olds foam swords and tell them to fight, they will become Spartans. And second, they will tire out within like 5 minutes.
Well, that's because they haven't been conditioned every single day, Ben.
I think that would just destroy their muscles and stunt their growth. I think that's the opposite of how you make a super soldier.
I've seen Captain America, thank you, and he starts out really skinny and awful, so checkmate, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, but this is like they know Dragon Ball wasn't a documentary, right?
If it helps, there's also a lesson in there on how the Spartans were trained to be great warriors from birth, and they beat the Persians at the Battle of Thermopylae, which isn't exactly how it happened.
They were there. Okay, so that's why they call them Spartans, because they're...
I guess. Now, they're called Spartan 2s. I have no idea if there are Spartan 1s, or if the Spartan 1s are the actual Spartans from Earth. I don't know.
Well, that could be. That could be.
I know later on there are Spartan 3s and 4s that are not as good as the 2s, I guess. But let's not think about that, Ben. Let's just think about the fall of Reach. And here's a fun fact. They're actually training on the planet Reach, which is the second largest human colony.
Okay.
I guess I should say the largest human colony, because the largest would be Earth, which I guess isn't a colony. So John's goals as this 6-year-old is to win. He always wants to win, Ben. He's really competitive, and he wins at the expense of his team, and then he has to learn teamwork and working together to win. But it becomes a little more concerning because later in the book, he's like a fully grown man, and he's still thinking about only winning. Like, everything is a black and white. You either win or you lose.
Well, I mean, it sounds like John really took to this life and didn't spend a lot of time missing his parents.
Oh my god, he really took to this life, Ben. I'm glad you brought that up. There are multiple points in this book. There's even a point where he's near the planet of his birth, and he's like, I remember I used to have a life there, but that was a long time ago, and like, now I have a purpose. I was given a purpose by the military. I never knew what I was going to do with my life until the military took me in.
You were 6.
Like, John, you were 6. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life at 6 years old either.
I was thinking about pursuing a career in rock stardom.
And John never got to make that choice, Ben.
But he doesn't seem to want to. He's like, thank God they took that choice from me. I'd have really screwed that up if I had freedom. Let that be a lesson to you, kids.
Yeah, the book is played like that, almost straight. There are parts where Dr. Halsey occasionally thinks about, like, what a monster she is for kidnapping all these children and how they have to pay the ultimate price to safeguard humanity. And then she's like, like...
But they're all so happy. Like, he really lucked out. Apparently one of those genetic markers was a lack of familial bonding, because...
He never thinks of his parents, I don't think. His parents don't have names.
Mr. and Mrs. 117.
How awesome would that be?
So it sounds like John's really enjoying his time. And I don't know why. I mean, that's a real win for the program, I guess. He seems like it seems like if the biggest problem he developed from this whole experience was that he's a little too obsessed with winning, that I might say that's success.
Well, hold your applause for just a little longer, Ben, because we're not done with the program.
I'll try.
So there is a training exercise. I think I mentioned this a moment ago. Yeah, Chief Petty Officer Mendez is the guy who's training all of them. And he basically, he flies them all into, like, a forested mountain with, like, a scrap of a map and is like, you guys need to find each other and find your way out. All right, okay, bye. And then at the drop ship that they're going to use to get out of there, that's the whole point of the exercise, there are a bunch of ununiformed men who do try to bring harm to the children. And John is like, Officer Mendez would never send people to attack us, even though at the beginning when they kidnapped these children, he abused these kids until they did push-ups and sit-ups.
Well, and I'm also going to just, being technical here, I know, but I'm going to count the kidnapping as an attack. I'm going to say, like,
real technical here.
Actually, your first experience with these people was them attacking you and forcibly
they actually
removing you.
stole you away from
they created a clone of you whose sole purpose in life was to suffer and die to cover their crime
Yes.
of kidnapping you.
Actually, these are maybe not good people, John.
Yeah, they might actually be some of the worst.
And hey, after John successfully gets them out of that training exercise, with violence, I should add. They use violence to subdue these men and fly away. He is promoted to squad leader. So that's pretty nice.
How old is John at this point?
I think this is several years later, but he's still, like, a child.
Okay.
So let's fast forward then to their 16th birthday, because that's important, because for their Sweet 16, Dr. Halsey gives the Spartans some biological augmentations that make them stronger, faster, have unbreakable bones, see in the dark, and it like kills a good chunk of the class. Like
they missed a golden opportunity to have like John's quinceanera. John, we're gonna put all these bio enhancements in you, and you can come out like a debutante ball and just murder some guys for the officials.
Wow, it's like you read the book, Ben. This kind of happens. So these augmentations are rejected. Of the 75 kids, 32 of them become super soldiers.
Real specific.
A dozen are crippled for life, and the rest are dead. That's almost half the class. And let me phrase for you what crippled means. There were some people who were twisted so unnaturally, and their bodies were so like wretched up, they had to be suspended in tanks and given respirators because their bodies were just garbage, just total garbage, just shot. They're never going to use their body again.
Well, I don't want to put ideas in their head here, but would they not just euthanize those?
I don't know if they euthanize those guys, but there is one of the guys who's like crippled, but like he just suffers like horrible agonizing muscle spasms, but like he has a desk job later. Like good for him, I guess. So some soldiers come out, like they have a funeral, and then some soldiers come out to like grab the twisted wrecks of human remains and like wheel them away, and John's like upset by this because, quote,
"Those are my men."
And Mendez is like, "Let them go, John. They're not soldiers anymore. They don't belong here." And he follows that up by saying Oni will find a place for them, like behind a desk, so they can still serve the military, and this brings relief to John, who says, quote,
"That's all any of us ask. A chance to serve."
Okay. I mean,
I think maybe we don't deserve a centralized galactic society if this is what it takes.
yeah, well, I just wonder, like, are they trying to go after that audience of, like, fans of military fiction? Because it's weird, like, I'm going to talk about Starship Troopers, the movie, not the book. You have that moment where the Bugs destroy his hometown, and you feel his rage, and you understand why he wants to join the military and why he falls for all the fascist propaganda. But like, Master Chief was just kidnapped. He didn't even have like an inciting incident where he became loyal. So is this maybe a reverse commentary? Is Master Chief like, how is this presented? Like, am I supposed to feel like Master Chief is an honorable guy for wanting to serve? Okay.
Yes, I guess. I think that's the
It's not questioning the like mindlessly following commands,
he
volunteering.
briefly questions that, and then he puts it out of his head on a few occasions in this book.
Okay. I wonder what they're going for with that. Maybe they're trying to show how brainwashed he is. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
I don't know, because this part especially is not in the game.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess we'll just keep going. We'll see how Master Chief develops. Is he Master Chief yet? Or are they still just calling him John?
He hasn't graduated yet, so he's still John 117, but he's the squad leader. So John, he goes to test out his super strength and speed. He notices like gym equipment in higher gravity is like really light, so he can't get a good workout. And some soldiers come in. ODST, that stands for Orbital Drop Shock Trooper, Ben. Okay. They're the baddest of the bad.
I mean, it seems like maybe the genetically modified Supermen would be the baddest of the bad, but...
Well, they were the best of the bad before the genetically modified Supermen came onto the scene. How about that?
Okay.
So these three guys, they start hassling John, and then their sergeant comes in and is like, hey, quit hassling that guy. Settle it in the boxing ring. So this puts John at ease because he got an order from a superior officer, so this is now his new mission, to box these dudes. And before, he was actually unsure of how to handle this social situation where these guys were hassling him. And he's a super soldier, of course, so he murders some dudes, like, just brutalizes these guys, and later is told by Petty Officer Mendez to not worry about it, and so John stops worrying about it.
I don't feel bad. You know, sometimes in life, one of the most valuable lessons you can learn is that if you pop off at the mouth, sometimes you get punched in the face.
By a super soldier who smashes your entire face inward.
If you're dumb enough to walk into the gym and see the guy who's just like one finger lifting the heaviest weights in the high gravity room, you're like, you think you're better than me? It's like, he is. I mean, why would you even... Like, yeah, you're going to get punched in the face, man. I mean, that's just what's going to... I'm on John's side with this, to be honest. I'm liking John more.
Well, that's good. I'm glad this is working for you.
Yeah.
Mendez tells John afterwards that not every mission is simple. Your goal is to follow the chain of command and keep you and your squad alive. Presumably in that order.
Okay. I mean, that sounds simple, but I'll trust you, which I guess really also sounds simple. It's like not every mission is simple. Sometimes you're going to have to think real hard and come up with creative outside-the-box solutions. And by that, I mean follow my orders.
Yeah, that actually is exactly what he's saying. Not everything is simple, but like, do as I say.
Not everything is simple, and sometimes I and no one else have to think real hard about it. Okay? You just remember that, John.
So John is selected to go on their first live mission, and he's going to select a crew to go capture a defected naval officer. There's like a hollowed out asteroid in the system. Actually, it's the system of John's birth. And there's a bunch of, I don't think they're called separatists because that's the Star Wars term, but that's essentially what they are. And this naval officer defected to them. And so they want to have him go in there, capture that guy so that they can, interrogate him later, probably torture him to death, and then destroy the base later. They identify a cargo ship that they believe is heading towards the secret base. They sneak on board, they flawlessly break in, capture the dude, and a bunch of civilians die. And after the mission's over, John has doubts about it, wondering if it was right that all those dock workers and civilians died, but then is like, well, they were rebels, right? I followed my orders and got my team out. Mission accomplished. He just never thinks about it again.
I was going to say, are they civilians if they're operating an illegal base?
Are they, Ben?
I mean, wouldn't they just be non-combat military personnel?
Must be. I mean, whatever helps John sleep at night. And you.
Was the asteroid, was it just specifically a military base?
I don't think it was specifically a military base because I think there was a like tiny city inside the asteroid.
Okay, well then, yeah. Why did he kill the dock workers?
Well, he had to blow out the airlock. He had to explode it with C4 so that they could get out of there. And the dock workers just happened to be there.
Has John ever given any indication that he would have a problem killing civilians in the past?
I don't think the opportunity has ever presented itself.
Well, I'm just saying because he seems kind of like sociopathic.
I actually wrote down a few bullet points up. So John is a sociopath.
Yeah, I mean, well, he doesn't seem to have any emotional attachment to anyone or anything. He enjoys structure and games with rules.
He does have an emotional attachment to his fellow Spartans.
Okay.
If that helps.
I mean, but like, to what extent?
He wants to make sure that no man is left behind. No one dies on his watch.
Okay. And what if they do?
He wants to win.
What? Yeah, but does he want to make sure no man's left behind because that just improves his victory? Or does he actually care? Like, does he actually know their names?
I think he knows the Spartans' names, yes. Later on in the book, he meets up with some Marines, and he's like, these guys are not very good in a firefight, and they're a liability that needs to be protected.
He values them as people, not just as assets to be used.
The Spartans or the Marines?
Both.
Probably yes for the Spartans. I don't know about the Marines. I kind of got the idea that he was only protecting them because it was in his mission parameters to get as many humans out alive as possible.
So what do you think would happen if, like, with the Twisted guys, one of his Spartans became unable to fight?
Oh, Ben, you're getting ahead of us by just a little bit.
Okay. Well, then I will table this question.
So now that this mission is accomplished, a little bit of time goes by, and they're briefed, the Spartans are, that the colony of Harvest, 3 million men and women and children, has been completely obliterated. And John actually has a little bit of envy mixed with his horror at the aspect of 3 million people being erased from existence.
Why does he want to die?
I think he was more envious of the killing power that it would take to that these people possess to kill 3 million people.
You really jinxed it naming your colony Harvest. Like,
well, after the colony goes no contact, an expeditionary fleet came to find that Harvest had been destroyed by, drum roll please for anyone who hasn't played the game or read the first chapter or listened to the beginning of this podcast, the Covenant.
So they just knew the Covenant was out there?
No, they went to go look, like, why the hell is this colony just not responding anymore? Why did it go completely black? And they showed up, and there were a bunch of alien ships in orbit, and it's hilarious because the briefing is like, we found out they called themselves the Covenant. And then they get a transmission about how humankind's destruction is the will of the gods. And then that fleet gets wiped out, except for one ship.
Is this their first contact with alien life?
This is their first contact with alien life.
Wow, they're taking it very well.
Yeah, in the sense that everyone's dying? Is that...
No, in the sense that, like, oh my god, we're not alone in the universe. This changes everything philosophically that we thought we knew about.
Well, I think they had contingencies for a first contact situation. I think they assumed that there were going to be intelligent aliens out there, potentially.
Okay. And so one of the contingencies was being attacked by crusading aliens.
No, it was more of a try to communicate like this and try to do this and don't fuck up.
So they're like sending them, like all the digits of pi and like the formula for a circle, and the aliens are like, die, infidel scum.
Yes.
Well, okay. I mean, now it's getting good. Now I'm getting fired up.
Well, yeah, and John thinks, quote,
This was the threat that he and the other Spartans had been training for all their lives. He was certain of it. Not scattered rebels, pirates, or political dissidents.
I was like, man, it sure is convenient that these aliens showed up from a moral perspective.
Well, it also seems like you're grossly ill-equipped to make any kind of difference in a fight against aliens who can just destroy an entire colony. I mean, it doesn't really matter how fast you run or how hard you punch if somebody drops a nuke on you. I don't know what a guy who's really good at punching stuff is gonna really do for the military.
Well, that's why we really need to play the games, Ben.
Okay.
So you can know firsthand what a guy who can punch things really hard can do.
Okay.
And hey, this is when the class graduates, and he becomes
The Master Chief.
petty officer.
What?
What? Nothing. Master Chief, petty officer.
Is that real? What are you doing?
That is real.
Okay.
Master Chief, petty officer.
I don't know what a petty officer is. I've heard that term before. I don't know what it is.
It means you're an enlisted man, and you're a petty officer.
Oh, okay. So Master Chief just hasn't gone to college.
Well, he never had the chance, because if you remember, he was kidnapped at the age of 6.
Like, what are the odds that Master Chief even knows how to read?
I think he knows how to read. I think that was part of the curriculum.
Who taught him
Because
how to
they
read?
did teach them, like, advanced mathematics. I think they were trying to make them smart as well as super powerful.
Because
what if they needed to fly a spaceship?
why would they need to do that?
Because punching things doesn't get the job done.
Why would you need to undergo an experimental steroid treatment to fly a spaceship?
Oh, it was so much worse than an experimental steroid treatment. But, to answer your question, I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I'm joking a bit and sort of like CinemaSins nitpicking, but so far, in all honesty, this sounds better than StarCraft.
Oh my god.
I mean, this sounds a little like, I don't know, contrived, but it doesn't sound boring, and it doesn't sound like...
If you're comparing book to book, for
Yeah.
sure this is better than that StarCraft book. That
Yeah.
StarCraft book sucks.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say, like, so far, I don't
I
actually
actually-
hate what I'm hearing.
I actually had a good time reading this book, except for the displays of child abuse.
Yeah, it seems... I mean, if somebody told me this was their favorite book, and they were, over the age of 16, I'd encourage them to continue reading a little further. But...
Yeah, the other Halo books. I hear there's some Dune level sci-fi in there.
I mean, at least move on to Tom Clancy or something. But if somebody told me they read this and they really liked it, I don't think I'd be shocked. This sounds okay so far. I'm on board. I'm interested to see where Master Chief goes.
Well, he's going to a secret Oni facility to get enhanced with Mjolnir.
He's getting enhanced again.
Yeah, so
For what?
So they build up Mjolnir a lot. Like, oh man, what is this? They actually build it up twice at 2 separate points in this book.
But wait, okay. I need to know at this point, what are his enhancements currently?
Super strength, super speed, unbreakable bones, see in the dark, increased stamina, better reflexes. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, and now I know this is being foreshadowed, but like I feel like that's already overkill for most situations he would find himself in. What is Mjolnir something vastly different, or is it everything he's already got but more?
It's an improvement to everything he has.
So he's going to have more unbreakable bones?
Oh, no. Ben, I can tell that you really need to know what Mjolnir is. So let's move
Okay.
forward. The book
Yeah.
has hooked you, Ben. It's got you with that foreshadowing. So on their way to this Oni planet, the ship that they're on runs into a Covenant ship.
Oh no.
And It basically it attacks them almost suicidally. Like it doesn't even get out of the way of armaments that are being fired at it. So they try some missiles. Missiles just kind of glance off the energy shield that the Covenant ships have, and they fire a Mac round, which is a magnetic accelerated cannon, which does impact the Covenant ship and break the shield and do some real damage. But meanwhile, the Covenant ship fires plasma that basically just burns right through the hull like it were burning through tissue paper.
Okay.
And the Covenant end up fleeing after taking a Mac round through the entire ship, but it's still standing. And so the captain's like, okay, we're going to drop off your special children. And Dr. Halsey, she's there, because of course she is. And if that ship comes back, we'll hold them off as long as possible, but we're probably going to die.
Is the reason they lost that fight because Master Chief did not have the strength to bench press that ship yet? Or
like we're getting there, Ben. Once he gets Mjolnir, it all makes sense.
Okay.
Kinda.
There's so much riding on this.
So Mjolnir is an armor suit, Ben.
Okay.
It's got all kinds of tech to like regulate your body temperature and shrug off all kinds of damage. But the most important thing is it moves as fast as you think.
I mean, well, I don't know if this is a testament to my extreme physicality or my extremely slow brain, but my body already kind of does that.
Well, this moves faster than that, Ben. In fact, any user that has tried it so far, the suit moved so fast when they thought about moving that it sounds like the suit moved faster than the arm underneath it, and it just like mangled the bones and the limbs.
So the suit moves for you?
You move the suit with your thoughts, basically.
So why would you even need to be in the suit?
Because that's how that works, Ben.
I mean, it sounds like you could just...
It's integrated into your nervous system.
I don't know that I'm fully understanding what they're going for. I understand it's a very fast suit. I think
It
that's all I need
basically
to know.
enhances their strength and speed and their protection.
Okay, yeah, and he's already pretty fast and strong, so that's going to be like a lot.
More of that, yes.
Yeah. I think this would be more fun if it were a video game and I had a certain amount of progression and then I got to this point and I was like, oh, this unlocks like now I can go back to that other level and jump over the thing. Now I see.
Are you saying you want to play a Metroidvania Halo game?
Yo, whatever, dude. I don't. I remember the first time I heard the term Metroidvania, and I was just like, we've gone too far. I don't, actually, I'm gonna take a bold stance and say I don't think I like Metroidvanias that much. I think they're okay, but I don't like that formula so much that I would seek it out as a genre. This is an entirely different podcast.
Words about games.
That I think somebody already took that one.
We can buy the rights. You got $5?
Oh, you were throwing shade at words about games.
Do they listen to this podcast?
I sincerely doubt that.
Okay, I'll leave it in. So, the ship does return, Ben. You remember that Covenant ship? It comes back. And the Spartans are like, we got this.
Are they just going to jump off the planet and fly the suits at them? What?
Well, actually, they take a ship, right? And they fly it up there. And then they use, I think they're like called jump jets or something. They're basically jetpacks.
Okay.
And they launch themselves out of the ship, use the jetpack to course correct, and 3 of them make it on top of the Covenant ship right as the shields are being taken down by the ship they came in on.
And they just start punching it.
No, they go inside and they start shooting people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is their first face-to-face encounter with the Covenant, and they kill them all.
Nice. So now they got a Covenant ship. I like this, actually.
No, actually, they blow it up, Ben.
Oh, why would they do that?
I can't remember why they decide that blowing it up is the way to go. I think there's probably too many people inside for them to effectively neutralize with 3 people. And,
You just said they killed everybody.
well, they kill everyone they run across.
You're being hyperbolic, and that is affecting my enjoyment of this summary, sir.
My bad, Ben.
It is genuinely your bad.
Well, Master Chief is going to take a plasma bolt to the face, but his friend Sam, who was introduced later in the book, but I didn't mention him by name because he's not really all that important, really, he gets him out of the way. He takes it. It pierces through his armor, so he is no longer going to be sealed off from the vacuum of space, so he stays behind to arm the bomb. You mentioned, like, what would happen if one of his soldiers couldn't fight anymore.
Well,
There you go.
Okay, I mean, this Mjolnir armor is not seeming as impressive as it once did.
That's actually what I said when that happened. I was like, wow, that armor is actually kind of garbage.
Yeah, it lasted like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And then, Sam detonates the bomb as the other 2 get out of there, and Sam dies.
Now, wait a minute. This armor's got everything except, like, duct tape. How long would it take him to get back to the ship? How long is he going to be in the vacuum of space? I bet Sam could have survived this. You know what the problem, though, is? Master Chief, at this point, if I was writing the story, I'd be like, I wasn't trained to think. I was trained to only follow orders.
They actually do have some sort of life-saving, like, injectable foam that they stick in a guy's chest cavity. I wonder why they couldn't just use that to, like,
just fill the helmet.
seal the armor off.
Yeah, I mean, he's only going to be in space for like 5 minutes. And also, you're some kind of Superman, so you might just survive it. You might just be able to tank the vacuum of space. I'd have at least tried. I'd have armed the bomb.
But he needed to stay behind to arm the bomb and make sure no one disarmed the bomb.
I don't know. I don't know about this. You just set the bomb for like 2 minutes. I don't know. I think they killed Sam. I think Master Chief's responsible for his death, and I think he should feel bad.
He did feel bad.
Good.
Part of him wished he could stay behind and die with his friend. But he's being forced to live, Ben. Years later, 2552.
What? What? You just telling me Samwise Gamgee died at Mount Doom and now...
Yeah, we're moving on. Years later, Master Chief's still alive, still doing missions.
I assume, yeah. It'd be a really weird book if he died off screen.
We're introduced in a really clunky way to the Cole Protocol, where ships aren't allowed to jump back to any habitable system if they're fleeing from the Covenant, and all navigational data must be destroyed.
Makes sense.
So that they can't find any colonies or Earth. It's named after a guy named Admiral Cole, who famously beat the Covenant in battle. Just ignore the fact that he outnumbered the enemy 3-1 and lost 2/3 of his fleet in the process of winning.
Win's a win. Especially if nobody else is winning.
Yeah, no one else is winning. That's actually the best thing they have to a win.
Is it just because of these plasma weapons?
And shield technology.
So it would have been like really important to have taken that ship.
Well, Ben, you're not wrong.
Okay, but I'm with you. It's not book ruining for me. I'm still with you.
So we're going back to visit Commander Keyes. Eh?
I don't remember what his rank was before.
He was a second lieutenant.
Oh. Congratulations.
I think this is like 2 promotions up. And he commands the Iroquois, a ship. That's the name of the ship. He doesn't actually command the Iroquois.
Yes, he's not in a longhouse right now. Yes, I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's heading towards Sigma Octanus 4. Oh no, he's in that area where he receives a report. Yeah,
just
that's
nearby.
Where it was.
Yeah.
He's nearby.
It's a suburb of Cygnus Octana 3.
Right. And 4 Covenant ships drop out of slip space, which is basically hyperspace, I guess, near the planet. And he ends up using a desperation move, this big fancy thing that destroys 3 of them. The 4th one, however, does something weird and flees, despite easily being able to outgun Keyes' wrecked ship. It turns out what they did was they dropped a whole bunch of ground troops, which is different than the Covenant's normal MO of destroy your planet from orbit. But
Okay.
Keyes isn't in any position to do anything about it. He's already radioed in for backup, and because of his heroic destruction of those 3 Covenant ships, he's promoted to Captain Keyes. Eh?
Nice. Good for him.
So that's how the Spartans get back in this story, because now there's some people on the ground. Time to send in the Spartans to do some espionage.
Espionage.
Yeah, they figure out what the Covenant are doing down there, or they look around, because the Covenant...
They like playing poker with them and pretending to sell arms or something?
They drew little mustaches on their helmets.
I do espionage like I do everything else with my fist.
They do some of that, actually.
Shocking.
They rescue civilians and soldiers, and they figure out that the Covenant were after some sort of weird-looking rock that had, some weird glyphs. The Covenant were transmitting that back to their ships. The humans don't know why they're doing this. And
do they not know that the Covenant is a religious crusade at this point?
They sure do.
Oh, yeah, I would probably assume it has something to do with their religion.
Probably. And you're not wrong, Ben. You're not wrong. And, they also come face to face with hunters. If you ever play the game, they're these big, gigantic, brutish motherfuckers with just coated in armor, and they basically have the Covenant equivalent of rocket launchers, and they're difficult as hell to kill. So,
even with Mjolnir and the strength of a god?
Even with Mjolnir. You have to punch them so many times to kill them.
Like, I can't just rip their arms off?
No.
Wow.
Right?
Everybody's power level is really scaling up at this point in this military thriller. It is a weird combo, I guess. I mean, it works for the video game. I don't know how well it works for the story.
Well, they do capture some technology from the aliens, Ben. If that makes you feel better.
It actually does.
They steal some of their hard shields.
Okay.
And then they nuke the city that all the aliens have taken camp in.
Oh, not bad.
And overhead, the space battle between Captain Keyes with his ship that just got kind of partially repaired and the rest of the UNSC Navy repel the Covenant attack overhead. So it's a victory all around.
Nice. Things are looking up.
And unbeknownst to them, a small tracer probe attaches itself to the Iroquois, which then returns to Reach.
Not Reach. That's where Master Chief's from.
He's pretty sure it's safe from the Covenant, though, and will never fall.
I don't fully understand. I guess Reach is a significant military target. Oh no, you said
military
no. I'm
and
sorry.
civilian.
Yeah, you did say it was the 3rd most populous.
Second,
sorry.
only behind Earth.
Okay. Yes. So no, that is my bad. I do understand the significance of Reach, and I was wrong to diminish it.
Yes, I accept your apology on behalf of Halo fans everywhere.
No, sincerely. I mean, I like I said, I'm poking fun, but overall, I'm still okay with this.
So, after all that, there's like a military inquiry on what happened on the planet. Blah blah blah. It's not really all that important. The important thing is Mjolnir, Ben. That came up again, and now with recharging shields that really would have helped Sam if he had those many years ago.
Do they name them the Sam shields?
That would be awesome if they did, but no.
It took me a second to remember, like, they're Spartans with Mjolnir.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, they also introduce us to Master Chief's new partner, Cortana. Eh?
She's the blue thing.
She's the blue thing.
Yes.
She is a smart AI that was cloned from the mind of Dr. Halsey. And a smart AI is capable of learning and being, like, so much better than us at everything, to the point where eventually they will literally think themselves to death after about 7 years.
As opposed to a dumb AI, which just kind of bottoms out after high school and never makes it out of their hometown.
Well, there are dumb AIs that they're designed for a specific purpose, and they don't learn more, really.
So it's just kind of like machine learning, like a driverless car AI or something. It's not self-aware.
She's self-aware.
Well, she
I don't
is,
think the
she's
dumb
smart.
AIs are.
Okay, yeah, I'm with that. That makes sense.
And so Dr. Halsey is like, all right, I have a secret mission that I want you on, but first you have to prove yourself to some of the real higher-ups in the UNSC who are, like, opposing my plan. Good luck! And then a bunch of troopers come in to try and murder him.
Oh, that seems like he would easily defeat them. I mean...
He does easily defeat them. Then Cortana and him, they run the obstacle course that John ran in his youth, but now there are landmines. So Cortana has to disable those. Oh yeah, and Cortana's been given, like, every single codebreaker hack system.
It's a good thing their landmines are...
known to
like
man. Yeah.
Their landmines have Wi-Fi? What?
I guess so, Ben.
Okay.
She also has a sassy personality. Did I mention that? That's important.
I assumed, because she's like his waifu or whatever. But she's like a ghost, essentially. I mean, she's not corporeal, right?
Right.
So she just kind of like goes through the Wi-Fi and hacks stuff for him?
I think so.
Does she live in the suit?
Yes.
Okay. I do actually like that. I kind of like that as like a little sci-fi idea.
Do you know why you like it?
Why do I like it?
Because you wrote it. His name is Carl, you see.
It was different. But yes. Well, I always like that. I always like the AI partner. I guess I'm a sucker for that. I even like the ghost partner. I just kind of like having like one person who does the physical stuff and one person who does the thinky brain stuff.
Oh yeah, and also a goddamn aircraft comes to shoot them to death.
Okay. I don't really have a good sense of how strong the Mjolnir armor is.
Well, the shield is what does it. He deflects a missile with a fully shielded arm.
It seems like, why would you need to demonstrate this? Like, it seems like they should just know that it can do this.
Well,
like
there's some rivalry between Dr. Halsey and some colonel that appears and then disappears almost as quickly as it's brought up, and
but like,
I don't think the guy's important.
You already
Cortana makes it look like that he's cheating on his wife.
Okay, so Cortana's just a little petty, I guess. But
yes.
It just seems like you already probably spent billions of dollars to design and fabricate Cortana and the Mjolnir suit. So, like, why wouldn't you... Like, if you had a rivalry, right? Why wouldn't you be like, yeah, take this mission against impossible odds, but if you screw up, and then you make it look like he did screw up, but then it turns out he didn't, and he saves the day.
Or... you don't do that because you're a petty douche.
And then his AI makes, doxes you and shows all your nudes to the military brass.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to the Covenant. Just
just like, what is this? What is this worm betwixt the legs?
Truly, this is a species that needs to be wiped out.
You see? That's why I said they gotta go. I mean, that's why God said they've gotta go.
Yes! So Dr. Halsey proposes that the Spartans, Cortana, and Captain Keyes onboard the new ship, the Pillar of
act like
Autumn.
Cortana has a choice. Yeah, we're sending Master Chief and Cortana. Like, they're not one thing.
I think Cortana also picks the ship.
All right.
She gets to pick which Spartan she wants to be with, and she picks the ship, and it's like an older model with a lot of redundancy built in.
You gotta love the Manic Pixie Dream AI. She's quirky like that.
Yeah, and I do. So their plan is to go deep into enemy space, get map coordinates to the Covenant homeworld by hijacking a spaceship. Yes, I'm aware that they already hijacked a spaceship and then they just blew it up, but bear with me. And then, once they go to the Covenant homeworld, they're going to capture one of their hierarchs and basically force them into a truce.
They're gonna capture one ship and one guy.
Yes.
And
They're basically going to capture a ship to get map coordinates, and then they're going to kidnap the President Pope.
okay, I mean, it's fine.
To be fair, they don't have a lot of options, so
That doesn't really sound like it would still factor into me as an option, but I also understand that it's not necessarily about, like, I do understand that the book is not necessarily about the military fiction. This is kind of like military fantasy, where it has its own rules and powers and stuff, so I'm fine with it. Like, I could see this as like a big dumb action movie.
I think it actually has become a big dumb action movie.
Oh, there's Halo movies?
Yeah.
I didn't know
They're
that.
not live action, though, if that's what you're asking.
Are they like CG?
I think they're CG. There are some anime Halo.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. Oh, have I mentioned that I think this book has been retconned a whole bunch?
I could see the need to do that.
Oh, shit. I think that Forward Unto Dawn, the Halo movie, was live action.
Oh my.
Oh my god. It wasn't like a movie that released in theaters, but like, film, I guess.
That's one way to describe your YouTube channel. It wasn't a movie that released in theaters, but I did buy a helmet. I would just like to have me wear the Master Chief helmet, with my gut hanging out. Just be like, okay, Spartans. I know we just ran 2.4 miles, but don't worry, I've been doing this since
So do you
I
want
was
to
6.
stream Halo in a Master Chief helmet?
If you buy me the Master Chief helmet, I'll wear it. But I'm not buying it.
I will.
If I could see through it, I'll do it.
All right, let's wrap up the Fall of Reach.
All
So
right.
they're going to leave the system, and they're going to do this plan, and then there's a priority alert. There's an entire Covenant armada coming for the planet Reach, so they've got to turn around and they've got to go fight.
Okay. So we're not capturing the Space Pope?
Nope, they can't. They've got to defend Reach.
Okay.
Now, this fight goes a little better for the humans at first because they have a bunch of orbital defense platforms. So that's
Okay.
really helping to do damage. There's a space station that couldn't dump its navigational data in time. So Master Chief and a few Spartans go destroy the nav data, while the rest go planet side where the Covenant are invading with dropships, and their plan is to destroy, like, the power plants that are working the orbital guns so
Okay.
that Reach can easily be taken.
Okay.
So the Spartans are going to go stop that, while Master Chief, I assume because it would be difficult to write a war zone, they go onto the space station, and they get the nav data destroyed. There's a big space battle where Captain Keyes destroys a super carrier with a new devastating super weapon, and Reach is saved. The end.
Hooray! I bet Captain Keyes is going to get another promotion and live forever.
Yeah. He lives a real long time. Oh, yeah. Master Chief, he and 2 of his squad go on to destroy that nav data. And his 2 squad mates are KIA, one of which they think maybe can be salvaged if they get her in cryo sleep quick enough. So that's what they do. They freeze her. The other guy, he's off into the vacuum of space where he's going to freeze to death or asphyxiate. Sucks to be him.
Yeah.
And then we learn that the Covenant were successful. They destroyed the power plants, and the glassing of Reach is underway. So the Pillar of Autumn is getting the fuck out of there. And they write it in such a way where maybe some of the Spartans on the surface survived. Maybe not. Maybe Master Chief is the last one. Maybe he isn't.
Would it be terribly difficult to make more?
Yes, because they only had the funds for 75 children, Ben.
Well, it seems like if you had, I mean, I guess, okay. So if I'm like a government guy, I'm cynical Ben government guy, and I'm like, I don't really see what a bunch of guys who punch real good are going to do against spaceships. But then like I see this guy, and it's like, oh, I didn't know he punched that good, and so I'm like, okay, I'm sold. Get me 100,000 more guys who punch real good.
So they do make Spartan 3s, which are not as good as Spartan 2s, but they're orphans, so that's progress.
Who cares?
And then I think Spartan 4s, which are fully grown adults, so...
who cares? If you need kids, just take some kids. Like, we're being exterminated. I'm ready to harvest the children. Let's do this. Government Ben guy's on board. I'm going to approve. I'm going to approve your request.
Just steal all the children. Here's some clones. Whatever.
Who cares? What are your options, man? We're going to Evangelion this shit. Get the kids in the robots. If I could do it, I would, but I can't. So get the kid in the robot. Get all of them a Cortana. Maybe dial back the sass like 3 notches. I don't need her sharing my nudes, you know?
So, in accordance with Cole Protocol, Captain Keyes has to make a blind jump to slip space, and...
There's always a blind jump, isn't there? There's just never time for those calculations, even though you do the same calculations. I don't know.
Covenant ships are fast behind him, but guess what? Cortana doesn't do a blind jump, Ben.
Oh my god.
See, no one could figure out what those weird glyphs were, but Cortana did. There are some sort of star chart, and she figured out roughly where that location is. And so she decides, I can jump over there. That's not a human population center. Still technically part of the Cole Protocol. And Captain
Could well
Keyes
be
is like,
filled with Covenant by now. And
yeah, Captain Keyes. So slip space is a little imprecise for us shitty, gorilla, grunting, meaty human people, right?
You can just
slip
say you can say it's slippery.
Yes. Yeah. Slip space is slippery. You just kind of like, you think you're going in one area, but you're gonna be just in the general area, right? Covenant, not so much. Covenant, they'll appear wherever they damn well please, and they'll do it faster.
Okay.
Captain Keyes is like, well, shit, once we get there, I want to go dark, so maybe we can just hide from them.
Well, can you so wait, slip space is not like in real space.
Correct.
So could you just hang out in slip space?
I don't know why you can't, but apparently no.
Okay.
Plus...
I was going to say, just do some donuts in slip space for a while.
I don't know why they couldn't, but they can't.
Okay.
And, yeah, on the other end of that slip space jump, they come across a gigantic alien ring in space with an Earth-like atmosphere.
Oh, this is that thing. Okay, so now it's Ender's Game. What's the other one I said? The Foundation.
Don't forget
and
Ringworld.
Ringworld is what I was going to say. And Ringworld. Because I remember on that episode where you made me pick a book based on its cover, I was like, this sounds a lot like that Halo thing you're so into. And you were like, yeah, no shit, dumbass.
That does sound like me.
I love the video game episodes. And the audience loves them. They're very popular.
I know, right? StarCraft was a very big hit.
Yeah. After you told 70 people to listen to 10 seconds,
Hey,
you only need
speaking
10
of that
seconds.
StarCraft episode, Ben. What a great segue.
Wait, so is that the end? Is Reach done?
That's the end. They come across a gigantic ring. To be continued. Go play the game.
Oh, that sucks.
It's to get you pumped for the game, Ben.
I can't play games. I'm a bookman.
Yeah, the book came out a solid month before the game. You're supposed to read it in that month and get pumped.
Oh, I didn't know this was part of like a marketing thing for the game. That's actually kind of interesting. I don't hate that.
In fact, some might say that you like that.
So obviously I didn't read it. And like I said, I was being a little silly. I was being a little nitpicky, a little bad faith criticism there. But in general, based on the summary I've heard, this was not nearly as bad as I thought it would be.
Oh my god.
This actually sounds pretty decent. I think it's, it's not going to join the ranks of like great sci-fi literature, but I think as a fantasy sci-fi novel, it's pretty decent. I could see somebody reading this and enjoying it and then going and playing the game and getting a lot more out of the game because they...
Do you think you'll get a lot more out of the game now, Ben, if you decide to play the game?
Maybe. I don't know anything about the game. I can tell you right now, I've been downplaying my own video gaming knowledge here, but in all seriousness, when it comes to Halo, I don't know much about it. I didn't own an Xbox for, I think I owned an Xbox 360 for a little while. Then it red ringed.
Yes, because we played Call of Duty 2 forever ago.
Then it red ringed, and then I got a PS3. And that was it. That's all I've ever had an Xbox, and I didn't play Halo. So the only time I've ever played Halo is at like friends' birthday parties in high school when we'd put two Xboxes together and do the LAN thing. So I've only played the multiplayer. I've never played through the story at all. So I honestly, I have no idea.
Well, we should play co-op through Halo on the stream after we finish our commitments.
To all those people who are so excited for us to play StarCraft.
They definitely weren't doing it because I said I wanted to annoy Ben. Please go listen to this episode.
This is the greatest time to play a Blizzard game.
Yeah. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing wonderful right now. Yeah, we could do it. What the hell?
Oh my god.
Okay, so full disclosure, I don't, the Blizzard thing, I think obviously what's been going on at Blizzard is absolute garbage, and it almost seems like somebody might need to go to jail.
Yeah.
But I've already bought the game. I'm not going to be buying the game to play this. Unfortunately, Blizzard already got my money, so yeah, why not? All right. Do you want to try to do it? We will do a test stream on August 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Oh my god. Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm not going to promise anything. Maybe we'll log in and we'll do like a multiplayer custom game of StarCraft or something. and then we'll start the story properly on the 6th. Because I just need to. It's been a long time since I streamed anything. I'm gonna have to do everything, and that you guys can tune in if you want. That stream is gonna be a mess. It's just me playing with audio levels, trying to figure out what's going on. So if you want to watch me struggle, go nuts. If not, I guess I should probably. Oh, I should probably make a Twitch for us, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to get back to you with the name of that. You're gonna have to edit that in. Future Ben here. It turns out I had actually made the Twitch channel like months ago when we first started talking about doing this, and it is perhaps unsurprisingly twitch.tv/wordsaboutbooks. So go ahead if you want to get in on the bandwagon early. Go ahead and subscribe and make me feel less self-conscious about just putting on a performance for the void. So yeah, check that out. Twitch.tv/wordsaboutbooks. I'm going back to the future now. You know what I'm doing. I wonder, if this stream goes well, I think I'd be interested in continuing to talk about video game books. Maybe as we play video games on Twitch.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think I know you get a kick out of doing
I do.
video game stuff. I don't know how much our audience really cares about the video game books, but if you do care about them, let us know. If you'd like to continue to see them on the podcast, let us know. If you would like to see us do some stuff on Twitch, let us know. I'm open to doing a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think we'll wrap up there, and time for the plugs, all the huge. You can check us out on Twitter at WABpod. You can check our blog for additional show notes and commentary at blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. If you like the show and you feel like maybe we deserve a little something extra, you could buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/WABpod. And if you like the show, but you're just not quite ready to part with that cash, we completely understand, and we would definitely appreciate a review or a share on a social media of your choice. Anything helps, spread the word. And with that, I think we shall say good night.
I must go now. My planet needs me.
Reach. This is Sam, but so much worse. Reach. He's just howling at the burning shards of his planet.